Devil Crash is easily the most metal pinball game ever made. A wild battle against the endless legions of hell, a showcase of demonic and medieval imagery with some of the most striking visuals and music that I've ever seen on a 16-bit platform. I first discovered Devil Crash last year around Halloween, while I was looking for some spooky-themed games to play for the season. The game was originally developed by Compile for the PC Engine, and is actually a sequel to a game called Alien Crash. It received a North American release where it was retitled Devil's Crush. Later, Technosoft, a different developer, was tasked with porting the game to the Mega Drive, where it was again retitled Devil Crash MD. Finally, for the North American release, the title was changed yet again to Dragon's Fury. In both North American versions, the pentagrams and the crucifixes were censored. I'm not a pinball expert, either with real tables or the video game equivalents, but I've played enough of both to say that the core mechanics here are well executed. The physics feel on point and the controls are nice and responsive. My only criticism in that area is that the pinball feels slightly less weighty than it should, but the real strength of the game, beyond its awesome presentation, is the utilization of mechanics that could never be achieved on a physical pinball machine. Waves of respawning enemies, moving targets, dynamic boss fights, and more. The main table is essentially 3 screens long and scrolls vertically with the ball at all times, always keeping it framed in a way where your currently relevant flippers are always on screen when you need them to be. The main table has a well-conceived and fun layout with plenty of dynamic possibilities and changing elements. From the large face that gradually becomes more demonic as it takes damage, to activating the giant pentagram at the top of the board, which then summons a circle of druids. The smaller pentagrams function as teleporters to the bonus rooms, all of which are unique boss fights. The game in general has a lot of arcane weirdness in that regard, which I think is appropriate considering the overall presentation and tone. The boss fights, some of which have been changed from the PC Engine version, are what really elevate the game into the pantheon of greatness. These bosses, each with their own mechanics, themes, and weaknesses, would fit neatly into any other action game, and they solidify Devil Crash's gameplay identity, a unique blend of pinball and top-down action game. And of course, this is all soundtracked by one of the best OSTs on the Genesis. The soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal and one of my all-time favorites on the system. It was composed by Toshiaki Sokuda, but credit must also go to the 80s metal that they were certainly influenced by. There is more than a little of Master of Puppets in the main table theme. That kind of on-the-nose referencing was a common thing in this era of gaming, for better or for worse. Still, overall it's a very remarkable achievement. It's the same music compositions for both systems, but they have a significant difference in their overall sound thanks to the very different nature of the sound chips in each respective system. Naosuke Arai, Toshiharu Yamanishi, and Takeshi Yoshida were responsible for recreating the music on the Genesis, and they did an incredible job. Personally, I think the Yamaha YM2612 chip in the Genesis, or Mega Drive version, is a clear winner over the PC Engine's HU-C6280 chip. The Mega Drive's got much fatter synths.
Only the very new sound. It was so fat, that sound, you know.
Nice deep bass and crisp, punchy drums. Don't get me wrong though, the PC Engine still sounds great too. The thinner and more ephemeral sound lends a more melancholy doom vibe to the whole experience, versus the feeling of fighting for your life metal type stuff of the Mega Drive. Here are some comparisons.
Hail to the king, baby.
The wailing guitar solos, pummeling drum breaks, and general high intensity are really top notch. The only other game on the Genesis that sounds close is another Technosoft game, Thunder Force 4, aka the Lightning Force. Yes, that's not a typo. Which, appropriately enough, was the next project of the team that handled this port of Devil Crash. The sound effects are also well executed, with booming explosions, demonic cries, and laughter, and other loud arcade-style effects. I particularly like the demoralizing laughter of the giant skull when you lose a ball, the PCM sample really getting to breathe by dropping out the music for a second when it plays. Another thing that taps into this arcane, almost hostile feeling of the game is the quick, subtle demonic face flash of the statue on the post-bonus room screen. The original way of finishing the game was to earn 1 billion points, which is going to be impossible for most players, myself included. Fortunately, another supposed addition to the Genesis version is that completing all 6 bonus stages will unlock a new final boss fight exclusive to the Genesis version that will also finish the game. I say supposed because I haven't managed to do it myself yet, and I can't find any video evidence of this on YouTube. Claim was made in a game FAQs guide uploaded by user metalgearsonic back in 2007. If you know either way, please let me know in the comments. All of these elements come together to form what is, for me anyway, the most entertaining video game pinball experience I've ever had by a significant margin. I haven't played Compile's other titles in their Pinball Crash series, but I definitely will at some point. Tengen, the North American publisher of the Genesis version, made their own sequel to the game titled Dragon's Revenge. Neither Compile nor Technosoft had anything to do with it, and it is a pale imitation of the original. There is also Demon's Tilt, an indie title released in 2019 that utilizes the framework, format, and overall style of Devil Crash to such an extent that it's almost bordering on being derivative. The game's soundtrack was even produced utilizing a YM2612 and SN76489, the same audio chips utilized within the SEGA Genesis. It just goes to show how influential this era of gaming was and continues to be. Devil Crash's notoriety continues to grow in online circles to the extent that even Japanese copies, which are usually much cheaper than their American counterparts, are approaching the $100 mark on eBay. What can I say? The retro game market continues to grow to very unsustainable prices, but anyway, I would definitely, of course, recommend Devil Crash. Even if you're not normally interested in pinball, between the wild presentation, the innovative action elements, this game has a lot to offer to just about anyone. That's all for this time. Thank you very much for watching.